Here to talk about this and more, RNC National Spokeswoman Kayleigh McEnany and Arizona Congressman and House Judiciary Committee member Andy Biggs. All right, Congressman, I'm going to start with you. Let's talk about this back and forth between the president and Chief Justice John Roberts. The president, of course, continued today talking about the fact that, judges are not necessarily all straight shooters. Are judges partisan?
Well, Judge, I've tried a few cases in my time, and I can tell you that yes, on political issues, I think some of them might have a little bias. And you can't tell me that some of the judges in the federal district court don't have an animus against Donald J. Trump and would wish that Hillary Clinton was still there. You just can't. Nobody believes that. That stretches credulity. And quite frankly, it kind of shows that maybe Justice Roberts is projecting his own naivete, his own bias, against bias, quite frankly. But you know what really is problematic with that most recent ruling is that it was a lower court issuing, once again, a national injunction against this administration. And that's really problematic. We've got to stop those national injunctions.
And Congressman, I'm going to get to the bill that you're sponsoring, the bills that you're sponsoring. But I want to go to Kayleigh McEnany. Kayleigh, the truth is that what we've got forum shopping on some of the biggest issues that involve the country. And in the last segment, we talked about the fact that immigration is now, for many people, the #1 issue. How is it that they keep going to the Ninth Circuit or courts where, it'll move up to the Ninth Circuit, and then some local, I'm calling him a local district judge, gets to do a temporary restraining order that enjoins the whole country? How does that work?
That's exactly right. Yeah, you have partisan hacks out there finding the most liberal judge they can find to then level a decision that rebukes the power of the executive branch. The president has vast power over immigration. That was decided in Trump versus Hawaii when the Supreme Court literally said he has the power to do this. This was after a judge in Hawaii unilaterally struck down the temporary travel ban. The Supreme Court, of course, upheld that. And now you have another liberal activist judge doing the same thing with this asylum executive order. So it's forum shopping, it's activist judges, and it's the judiciary wielding power they do not have to rebuke the legitimate power of the executive branch as laid out in the Constitution of the United States.
And, with the Chief Justice getting involved, it almost is a tacit approval for these local district court judges to say, yeah, I'll enjoin the country. But anyway, President Trump yesterday continued his attack on the far-left Ninth Circuit Court of Appeals. Look at this.
We're getting some terrible decisions from the Ninth Circuit, as usual, and it's a shame. It's a shame. It's a disgrace, frankly. And essentially, they're legislating. They're saying what to do. Some judge sitting in some location very far away is telling our incredible military and law enforcement what to do, and it's not right. Hopefully, we've shown some light on the Ninth Circuit. I know that Chief Justice Roberts, John Roberts, has been speaking a little bit about it.
I got to tell you, Congressman, when I was a judge, we never, ever got involved in any way, shape, or form. And I said this the other night when I hosted Hannity, that it is so, to me, stunning that a Supreme Court justice would come out and push back at the President of the United States. The President is political. The Supreme Court justice is not, especially the Chief Justice. But let's talk about the Ninth Circuit and what we've got and how this circuit is considered almost a circus, given their decisions.
Right. Well, we call it the Ninth Circus here. It stretches from Alaska to almost the equator. It's by far the biggest, and we can't even get an en banc hearing here, as you know. So we're stacked up. We can't get an en banc hearing, and then, quite frankly, Arizona and the Intermountain West, we're not really kind of copacetic with the California mentality and the coastal mentality. I have a bill to split up the Ninth Circuit. we can't seem to get any action on it, partly because we have California representatives who want their portion of California out of the Ninth Circuit and into the new 12th Circuit. And that's really what's going on.
All right. Kayleigh, you know, what the congressman is proposing is splitting up the Ninth Circuit, which now has 29 justices, the largest in the country. And what he was referring to is the fact in his bill that the Ninth Circuit doesn't reflect the values of the state that he's from. And so he wants to get out of it. And I mean, is that something that we've seen done in the past?
Well, the congressman is spot on. I think this is a great proposal. Makes a lot of sense because the Ninth Circuit doesn't just not represent the area over which they rule. They don't represent the United States of America. They're the most overturned circuit for a reason. I mean, it's a fact. And you look at, by the way, I just got to say, with Justice Roberts there, where was he being vocal when Ruth Bader Ginsburg came out against the president and made blatantly partisan comments that no justice has made like that in the past? Where was he rebuking her? I feel to recall
Obama went after the whole Supreme Court when he was giving the State of the Union. But Congressman, one more thing to you. One of the arguments, it would seem to me, on your behalf to split that circuit is that there's got to be delays. That circuit has to have a lot of cases, given the huge number of states. I mean, you know, it's like it's California, it's Montana, it's the state of Washington. It's give me all of them. It's Arizona.
Well, you can't even. Who can name them all? Because we're talking territories that stretch down to the equator. But part of our problem is they have twice as many cases at least. That's one issue. And the other issue is, think of where, if you're living in Montana, if you're on the east side of Montana and you have to go to San Francisco to have your case heard, that's problematic. And so they say, well, we hear it on, we can Skype it or something like that.
Yeah.
That's not real. That's not real anymore.
Right. All right. Thanks so much to both of you.